Now, they say faith can move mountains. It can transform a thought, the course of a story, and also people. We are speaking of the Indian T20 League and the Rajasthan franchise in particular, and one player, Riyan Parag. Now, before I get to Riyan, I have to speak about the franchise. They are a setup that has always believed in persistence, in backing talent, skill, true potential, and go with the belief of what they think will work instead of what works or what the world thinks will work. You can see that in the relationship they share with their skipper, Sanju Samson. Now, he's a great player. Inconsistencies may be his biggest flaw, but he's a talented player with a steady head on his shoulders. The franchise recognizes that and have given him the implicit faith and freedom to express. Another player for whom this was the meter was Riyan Parag, a very young Riyan Parag who had flattered to deceive for over 3 years now. Every year, much would be spoken of and expected of Riyan Parag heading into the season, and every time he has disappointed. And I can say that surely because the facts will back me up. The reason there was a lot of buzz around this teenager when he came on was his flair and flamboyance. That explains the strong start in 2019. Averaging 32 for a finisher was decent. And then, of course, came the slump. Every year we thought this season it will be Parag's year. He basically proved otherwise, whether it was 2020, 2021, 2022 or 2023, as you can see with the numbers. But this year, you sensed something different. I remember previewing the franchise leading up to the season and said this year could be Riyan Parag's. And so far, it's only been a couple of matches and he's already averaging 127. Yes, that is, of course, because of his unbeaten knock of 84 last night, but it is not a flash in the pan. He's looking solid, rejuvenated. This is Riyan Parag 2.0. To quote another super talented middle order batter, Surya Kumar Yadav, who was singing praises after watching his knock last night. So what went wrong? What did he do heading into the season different? And why is this perception around Riyan Parag so consistent? Now, as a community, we like uniformity. I guess it's our way of finding a common ground and some comfort. So anything new or strange or different or something that stands out is immediately a little jarring because we can't comprehend it. Riyan Parag was that when he burst onto the scene. The collars all turned up, the over-smart one-liners, the gum-chewing swag, the over-the-top celebrations. He was too much for that age. And when his bat was not doing the talking, he got reduced to those mannerisms, the quirks, not the skill that his franchise, Rajasthan, sees in him. This happened year after year, and yet the franchise persisted. They saw the future in him. They saw what he could become, what he could do rather than what he was, and how the world was viewing him. But it was not just the team, his captain, the coach, the management that was keeping the faith consistent. It was also something more important, what he thought of himself and his talent.
I've said multiple times, I know what my opinion is about myself. No matter what anyone says, I don't let that change. That has never changed regardless of whether I'm performing or not performing. Even if I got a 0 today, that opinion was never going to change. That constant support from myself to myself always helps.
He believes what he is capable of, he can achieve. And it's a belief that in fact, that is what he brought into the season too. Through his own strong performances in the domestic league, heading just before this, Riyan Parag was the highest run getter and the highest six hitter at the 50-over Deodhar Trophy. At the Syed Mushtaq, the T20 tournament, he made more than 500 runs at a strike rate close to 200. And he was just as menacing in the longer format, the Ranji Trophy too. We, of course, won't go into that, but there was something different about him. That confidence was there. It always was. But he was making every presence out in the middle count. Not just the cameo knocks. He was sticking to the crease, getting that time in, setting his sights hard and staying on. He was putting a price on his wicket, and that mindset of not letting go has made him a far more potent player in this season. He was on song last night against Delhi. His innings was a differentiator, and it showed what a carnage this young boy, all of 22 years, is capable of. A carnage that he can cause. The top order failed on the occasion, and he came in under pressure. Not the finisher role that he normally undertook for this franchise. The coach Kumar Sangakkara says he believes Riyan Parag's talent is that of a solid number 4. That's massive coming from someone of his pedigree. And that says something of Riyan Parag's talent. Rajasthan was looking like a balanced team on paper, and with Riyan Parag, they have the teeth for the fight that is coming up. But my takeaway, we always talk of Chennai as the one franchise in the league that never chops and changes and always gives every player the long rope, or where players who failed elsewhere come and flourish, like Shane Watson, like Shivam Dubey. And maybe when there is so much success, you tend to believe this narrative more. But should it not be recognized more so when a team continues to persist, never giving up on a talent, even when they are yet to win a title or even when they continuously fail? Rajasthan has proved that with the Parag story.